Hey, welcome back to the channel. Before we get into the next episode here of my personal mission guide, just wanted to point out real quick something from last video that I got wrong. The Fire for Effect award cannot be earned in artillery, so that's my bad. Going forward, just please remember that for the 279 mission 1, it cannot be done in artillery. You'll have to do it in another tank. Alright. So, for today's guide, we are going to be doing Union first for the Excalibur. Most people will already have these done, but I figured I'd still go over them anyway, just in case somebody's stuck on them, or maybe a new player is watching this. Yeah, so first, we have Union 1 full cooperation, and at this one you have to enable your allies to cause 15,000 HP of damage to enemy vehicles that do not belong to the Union, so they can't be Russian and they can't be Chinese by spotting them or immobilizing them by destroying their tracks. So, first off, for this mission, I highly recommend this tank right here. It's about to pop up on screen in text. The T100LT. Why? It's stealthy, the gun isn't too bad, so you'll be able to hit your shots when you want to track something. But mostly you're going to get spotting damage for this fairly easily. If you want to try tracking people, that's up to you. But overall, I just find getting spotting damage is usually easier. Uh, yeah, pretty much it. There are quite a few Russian tanks in queue usually, so gotta be careful of that. Just make sure that you're getting a wide range, a wide variety of spotting targets. Don't just sit in one spot, one bush. Maps that are good for this mission are Mali, Muro, Proc, Avkas, or Vankas. That's what you want. Those are the bread and butter for these kind of missions. Yeah, anyway, being as it's the Excalibur, by the way, these missions don't have to be done in a set number of battles. They can be done over any number of battles. So, if you don't want to rush through them, just take your time, get them done. In the end, you're going for the same reward anyway. It just might take you a little bit longer if you maybe don't have the time or whatever, but that's fine. Just know that these missions will take you a little bit. This mission will probably take you a good 10, maybe 20 games, depending on your skill level. And if you want to get it with honors, you have to survive, so just could take a little bit longer. You should be able to survive 5 out of like 20 battles, though, fairly easily. But yeah, that's my recommendation for Union 1 full cooperation is the T100LT. Alright. For Mission 2, Union 2, turn off the lights. Cause 6,000 damage to enemy light tanks. And the with honors is cause 2,000 damage to enemy vehicles. So, if you're just looking to do the primary condition, once again, I'm going to recommend a T100 light tank. Mainly, I actually have two recommendations for this. I'll show you the second one here in a minute. But my main reason for recommending the T100LT for this is you're a light tank and you can counter other light tanks. If you don't want to do it in a T100LT, I guess I kind of have three recommendations then for this. The T50-2, most everybody at this point should have, unless you're a brand new player. And if you are, then the Tier 6 Russian light tank isn't actually bad. The MT25, it's not the best, but it's not bad. You'll be able to get out of damage. It'll just take longer than using a T100 would, because T100 you should be able to do 1,000 damage per game pretty easily. So this should take you around 6 to 10 games to complete just the primary condition. If you want to complete it with honors, then my second recommendation is a Russian medium tank. Why? Because the APCR is fantastic. You could rely on your light tanks to spot the other light tanks, or wait till a little bit later in game. But mainly, you should be able to get 2 to 3 shots maybe even for a game on light tanks. Sometimes there's not light tanks in the game. That adds extra games into the equation. But with a Russian medium, you should also be able to do 2,000 damage fairly easily overall. So if you want it done with honors, use a Russian medium. It'll take roughly the same amount of battles, but overall, you'll get it done with honors. Alright. Now for mission 3, V is for Vengeance. Destroy 15 enemy vehicles that cause damage or hit your vehicle causing no damage. So basically, anything that shoots you, whether it pens or not. That's what this mission is for. Destroy 15 enemy vehicles. This one can be easy, it can be hard. It depends on the teams for the day. So, realistically, with this, you're going to want to wait until something gets down to a one-shot, or if you're 1v1ing it, that's fine too. But this mission is just made to try kills. Also, like I said, there's no time limit or battle limit for the Excalibur missions. So you could just destroy one tank over every game for 15 games and you'll get it, and it'll take you 15 games. Realistically, this one takes me usually around the ballpark of 5 to 7 games. So it's not too hard. It just like I'm gonna say 1,000 times in this guide for the Excalibur missions, they just take time. They're not hard, they're just designed to be a time sink. So my recommendation for this one is the IS-7. It can tank shots pretty easily, the gun is pretty beefy, it's not the most fast-firing gun, it's not the most accurate gun, but when you're fighting most of the time, it's going to be sufficient enough. And if you don't have an IS-7, pretty much any Russian heavy tank is going to work for this. It doesn't even have to be a heavy tank. You could just, like a T-34-85M works. Anything tier 6 and up that has, a decent amount of armor, or you just feel like trading. That's my recommendation. For Union 3, V is for Vengeance. With honors, it's just surviving, so pretty easy there. Alright, Union 4, like a stone wall. Block 40 hits with your vehicles, survive the battle. Again, we're going to have to go here with an IS-7. Like I said, the IS-7, it's a pretty good hull-down tank. The cupolas are actually recessed into the top of the turret. They're hard to hit. You can kind of pen to the left and the right of the gun, but usually it's higher penetration tanks that need to do that, and if he lifts up his gun, you can kind of pen underneath it. But for what it all intents and purposes, the IS-7 is a really good tank to do this mission. And if you don't have an IS-7, then any Russian heavy, pretty much, except for, I think the KV-85 doesn't really have great armor. The IS doesn't exactly have the best armor. So, IS-3, T-10 doesn't have great armor, but the turret's okay. And IS-7, 257 is pretty decent. It's not bad, but it does have an overmatch on the top. So, just the best all-around tank to do this in is the IS-7. You'll block more shots than you can count on most of the time, as long as you're playing the tank right. And yeah, Union 4, IS-7. Again, it's just to survive for the honors. So, on to the next mission. Union 5. I follow the SPG. Cause 2,500 damage to enemy SPGs. Cause 2,000 damage to enemy vehicles. So, 2 recommendations for this one. 1 recommendation for the primary condition, and 1 recommendation if you want to do it with honors. So, just to get the primary condition completed, you're going to want to do a T100 light tank. Why? Same thing I said earlier for the light tank mission. It's fast, it's a light tank, stealthy. Just overall one of the better light tanks in the game. If the EBR wasn't in, it would be the light tank. You can argue for Manticore, but Manticore is it's a niche tank. You have to know how to play it. Its skill ceiling's very high for it. The T100, pretty much almost anybody can jump into. It has a basic understanding of how to play light tanks, and they'll have it. So, fastest way to get the primary condition done, T100 light tank. Or pretty much any Russian light tank up to it would work as well if you don't have a T100. Okay. For Mission 6, Union 6 Focal Point, enable your allies to destroy a total of 12 enemy light tanks, medium tanks, or tank destroyers by spotting them or immobilizing them, destroying their tracks. Oh shit, did I go over the, I just kinda swear, oh well. Looks like no, la 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 la. So I try to do these in one take. By the way, minimal editing, if any at all, just to see how it's gonna fare. I know it would add more production value if I actually went in and edited the videos, but right now I think I just want to give it a shot with no editing and see how it goes. So you're gonna hear a lot of me just fumbling around with my words, a lot of blank space. I hope you can forgive me for it. But yeah, I'm just trying to do the best I can right now. Not really good editor. Anyway, just in case I didn't, Russian medium if you want to do this with honors. Again, just it has more HP to throw around. Usually a little bit more versatile. The gun's better. You'll be able to do 2,000 damage fairly easily in it. This together, with just the T100 here, it should take you 10, 15 games. About the same amount with an RU med. So, alright, now for real, on to Union 6 Focal Point. So we went over this already, but it's destroy 12 enemy light tanks, mediums, or tank destroyers by spotting them or immobilizing them for your allies. And once again, shocker, T100 light tank. Again, Russian light tanks, just use them for this. It's basically a light tank mission. So, yeah, anyway, T100 LT. Union 7, destroy 10 enemy medium tanks. And the honors is cause 2,000 damage to enemy vehicles. You see these ×3 bonuses. I mean, yeah, I guess you can go for them if you want, but they will help speed it up. But at the same time, it's like half the battles that you can do this, so it won't really matter anyway, for the most part. Alright, my recommendation for this one, Russian medium. Russian mediums are easy to do this in, especially if you play a tier 6 Russian medium, like the T-3485M. You'll be able to get the primary condition fairly easily. If you want to complete it with honors, using a tier 8 to 10 Russian medium is the better way to go. Get that juicy 75,000 credits. Destroy 10 enemy medium tanks. 10 to 15 games maybe, depending on your skill level. Cause 2,000 damage. Still 10 to 15 games, depending on your skill level. Okay. Anyway, on to the next mission. I know it's kind of boring, monotonous. I'm just repeating myself a lot. It's gonna be that way unless you guys give me some feedback that you just want certain problem missions gone over. But in general, I just like to go over all of them within one line right now. But yeah, just let me know, and we can see what is going to happen from here on out. Anyway, Union 8, call the shots. Enable your allies to cause 10,000 HP of damage to enemy vehicles by spotting them, stunning them, or destroying their tracks. Another assistance mission. This one wants you to complete it with honors for stun, so there's going to be 2 tank recommendations here. And that's going to be, surprise, shocker, T100 light tank. If you just want to get the primary condition gun and done and go past it, you don't want to play an artillery, which is completely understandable. The T100 LT, again, because of the spotting ability, and you can just track them. Also, too, if you get in situations where you need to and you're not going to be able to get the spotting. Alright, cool. And then, if you want to do it with honors, surprise! Artie! The easiest one that you can get, I think, is the SU-14-1, the Tier 7. It's a collector's vehicle. You can get it. You can free XP the top gun, or you can just use the small gun. Small gun's not that bad. You can do 100 seconds of stun in one game. Oh, yeah, complete it 5 times. So it is over 5 battles you'd have to do it in the game. So, fairly easy. How many games is it going to take? You should be able to get, with a T100, you should be able to get, 1.5, 2K spotting damage. So we'll go roughly around 2K spotting and tracking. So it would take 5 games for that. And if you want to do it with honors with the RD, it could take you potentially longer, especially if you're doing it at tier 7. If you're doing it at tier 10, it take maybe 5 to 10 battles. Shouldn't be too hard. Okay. Mission 9. Cause 2 times more damage than the hit points of your vehicle. 2 recommendations for this one. It depends on whether or not you are an Artie player. Because Artie, if you didn't know, is super easy to do 2 times more damage than the hit points of your vehicle. It is super easy. It should only take you 10 games. Because if you're using the SU-14-1 or the SU-14-2 or the S-51 or the 212A, they all have a 203 millimeter howitzer, cannon, whatever you want to call it, that will get you double your HP in 2 shots if you hit. Could get a little unlucky where it takes 3, but you should be able to complete this in 10 games, if not 10 to 15, with artillery fairly easily. Now, my other suggestion might come as a bit of a shock, but it's the SU-152. The SU-152 with the big gun, 250 heat pen. You see tier 7s, you can see tier 5s. It's insane. It's just insane. You can one-shot tier 5s pretty much. Just yeet them. Super easy. I think it has 870 hit points, so that's what's that? 1740 you gotta do. It's not that easy, but it's not that hard. It's like 3 shots with the big gun that pen. And destroy 2 enemy vehicles. It's super easy with the SG-152. Like I said, especially if you get into a tier 5 game, or even some tier 6s, you'll be able to high roll in one shot. So, just be on the lookout for it. The SU-152, actually a really good tank for this. Alright. Mission 9. Participate in a successful capture of the base. Be in top fires among your team, experience earned. Alright, so this one is going to be up to in your interpretation here as far as what I'm going to recommend, but there is something that I'm going to recommend you do to help you be able to complete this faster, and that is platoon. Definitely platoon for this mission, because you can get your friends on the same page and you can be like, hey, let's get on the cap. Boom. You have the chance. Maybe it takes up to 5, maybe 10 games if you're really unlucky. But as long as you're platooning, this should be fairly easy for you to come in and just grab and do. I've struggled with missions like these in the past, especially when I've been doing them by myself. But if you have a platoon and you have some friends together, it's really, really easy to do, because all you got to do is just be like, hey, we have the chance, just sit on the cap. Who cares about our team? Screw it. They're going to say no cap, kill. it doesn't matter. You have a mission to do. You're sitting out here to grind these missions. You have the chance to do it. You're stuck on it. Just go for it. It doesn't matter. Screw them. Who cares what they think? They're just players in a video game. So, 5 to 10 games if you're unlucky should be what it takes to do this mission. Mission 11. Destroy 2 enemy vehicles. And then the honors is cause 2,000 damage. So that's pretty consistent for a lot of these completion with honors. It's 2,000 damage. But yeah, destroy 2 enemy vehicles. Really, I'm going to recommend again the SU-152. Like I said, it can see tier 5s. It can see tier 6s. That big alpha gun, it just smacks so hard. And if you have it set up right, the reload is fast. It's so good. It's like 13 seconds. And it eats through tanks. So my recommendation, SU-152 with the big gun. And doing 2,000 damage, like I said, 3 shots. It's not going to happen every game, but you should be able to do it and achieve it relatively alright. Condition 10 times. You should be able to do this 10 to 15 games. Yeah. SU-1, if you can't tell already, I just love the SU-152. It's such a good tank. Alright. Union 12. Block 2 times more damage than the hit points of your vehicle. Survive the battle for the honors. This one is user choice. It's how you feel, how comfortable. It's how comfortable you feel in the tank that I'm going to suggest, whether you want to or not. But again, it's going to go to the IS-7. If you don't want to run hardening, then it's up to you. But blocking a little around 5k, maybe a little bit over, halfway over, something like that, depending on what you have your IS-7 set up like. It's going to take some time. You have to complete this 4 times. It'll probably take you 15 to 20 battles. Depending on how you're playing the tank, depending on your skill level, it could take you up to 50 to 100 games. Don't get discouraged. You can try an IS-7. If you don't like the IS-7, a Russian heavy tank. The KV-1 is pretty troll. If you play it right into tier 5 games, you can go on the South American server, you can play against bots, you can do this and that. Generally, the lower your HP, usually the easier it is to block more than half or 2 times your hit points of your vehicle. So be that as well. Depends on what vehicle you're comfortable with within the heavy line. KV-1's pretty good. IS-3 is good. ISM, if they don't know what they're doing, can be pretty good for that as well. So again, that's just pretty much user choice. Be that as what you take it. Play what you're comfortable in. Mission 13. Cause damage to an enemy vehicle by ramming. So, we've come to a point where the game has become screw skill. Let's see what you got. Do you have the balls to do this? If you want to do it with honors, then doing what I'm about to suggest might not be the best thing. But 2 recommendations for this. First one is a T100. Why? Because it has the speed. You can get to places relatively easily without being spotted. As long as you're running controlled impact, maybe you want to throw a spall lighter on there. It's up to you. You will do damage to something by ramming it. Just maybe not a mouse. I wouldn't try a mouse. That's the first recommendation. And the second recommendation is a Russian heavy tank. Why? Because from tier 8 up, they're relatively speedy. They weigh a decent amount. And a lot of the times you'll actually get people just bumping into you and causing damage to themselves. And that counts as ramming damage. So it should be fairly easy to do depending on what you want to do. Like I said, you could get this done in 7 games pretty easily. If you want to do it with honors, it might take a little bit longer because you have to survive and you have to look for the opportunities to get ramming damage without dying. So, fast track, just take a T100 and ram it into something. If you actually want to do the completion with honors, Russian heavy tank. Destroy 7 enemy vehicles that have lost more than 50% of their hit points as a result of damage caused by you. Union 14, heavy blow. Cause 3000 HP of damage to enemy vehicles. Alright. So, for this one, the tank that I'm going to recommend, SU-152. Why? You are almost going to guarantee, unless it is a tier 9, or a high hit point value tier 8, you will almost guaranteed be able to knock 50% of the hit points off of an enemy vehicle. And this is over any number of games. 7 vehicles. It should not take too long. Maybe it takes you up to 10 battles to get the primary condition done. Maybe it doesn't. It is what it is. It depends on matchmaking, depends on games, depends on RNG. Just keep it in mind. SU-152, big gun. Also, if you want to do this with honors, you can see I actually haven't because I just wanted to get through the missions. But if you wanted to do this with honors, then I recommend that you play an IS-7. Why? It's just hardy. It's hard to kill a lot of the time. The gun's okay. It's not great. It's not bad. It's decently fast. It has the good armor profiles. It's not outrageously tall. Again, 10 to 15 games, depending on your skill level, to do this with honors. Yeah, those are my 2 tank recommendations for this mission. And then we're going to jump on to the last mission real quick. This is a long video, 27 minutes so far. Probably going to bleed till about 30. So this one you're going to want to do with honors, and I'm just going to tell you right now, please, for the love of God, I have seen people who don't do this. Take your time on the 15th missions for all of these and just do it with honors. It will help you out later on and you don't understand how much. Take the time, get the Ace Tanker. Ace Tanker is fairly easy to do in, you guess. Oh, that was a bit of a blip there, my bad. Anyway, it's fairly easy to do in the SU-152. Big gun, big damage, big one-shot potential. You gotta do this 3 times over any number of battles. The tank to do it in is the SU-152. Why? Because it can pick up kills, and kills get you a ton of XP. If you get 6 kills in a game and you do 2,000 damage and an SU-152, you're pretty much guaranteed an ace tanker. That's basically for any ace tanker thing you want to do. Get kills. Kills add a ton of experience. More than what you're thinking about. Potentially, maybe you already know the numbers, but it just does. And the other thing is, try and shoot tanks that are of a higher tier than your vehicle, because that adds more XP to the game for you. But yeah. Anyway, that's what I have for the Union missions. And next episode, we're going to be going over the block missions. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please stay tuned for the next upload. I think I'm just going to upload this one on the 10th. And then I'm going to work on the other 3 videos and probably upload those Friday before I move. So just in case the video doesn't come out the week after this one goes live, I am moving, so that could take up a bit of time, getting settled in, job hunting, stuff like that. Just all I ask is that you be patient and that you enjoy the content for the time being. Anyway, I'm gonna head out. Peace out, guys. I'll see you guys later.